So, um, little things, little techniques that I do is I started becoming aware of my thoughts. So I learned that okay, these thoughts are starting to come in. Who is that? Who is that keeps thinking? You know, like, is that really me? Or am I just identifying with that thought, right? I realize I am not my thoughts. I create my thoughts. And if I am lazy, then those thoughts just come in regular, how I'm used to living and how I'm used to thinking. But if I exercise my mind to think different, now I'm able to create a new me, a new being, a new self, a new spirit. So I started paying attention. Like, I used to sit in the meditations with, like, slow down. I would say, okay, let me think about what I'm thinking about. Let me pay attention to what I'm thinking and how I'm thinking all day. So I decided, okay, I don't like that thought. I don't like how I'm thinking. And I'm realizing that every thought that I think, I'm creating. I'm creating something. I'm making it true. I'm believing in that thought because I trust me before I trust anybody. But now I'm realizing I can't trust that. If I'm thinking some BS about my life, I can't even trust that. I have to I have to stop and say, hold on. Is that really how I want to think inside of my own body? If you love yourself with all your mind, your body, and your spirit, would you think like that? Would you speak like that out of your godly given loving mouth that you love? Would you think like that in your godly given mind inside of your body that you love? Probably not. So if you really loved yourself, no matter who's around you that you're thinking about that's bothering you, you wouldn't think like that out of your mind that's coming out of yourself if you knew that it's creating what you don't want. So I started realizing that, and I said, I'm going to have to change. I have to change the way I speak. Even though someone frustrates me, I can't speak like that. I have to stop and change the way I think, because even though this circumstance is irritating me, I can't even think like that. That is the fear of God. As soon as you fear that as soon as you think negative, that negativity will stick onto you, and you're going to create a negative experience because of how you're thinking. So I started becoming afraid because I knew that I was a powerful manifester, and I knew that everything that I think, speak, and do comes true fast because I am a chosen entity. I have strong energy, I have powerful energy, and there's power in the tongue. So I figured, okay, every time I think something negative, I see it and I find it quick. So what if I know that every time I thought negative and did negative things, it happened quick? What if I thought positive? What if I speak positive? What if I do more positive things? If I can manifest this negative stuff so easily and effortlessly, what if I changed the way I thought and spoke and did things, right? And that's how I decided to become who I am and learn more, practice more, heal, and say, hey, I am not my circumstances. I am not what I think, what I speak, what I do. If I don't want to be, I can change that, all right? So that's what came about me becoming fully woke, fully conscious, is you better be afraid of the next thing that you think about. You better be afraid of everything that comes out of your beautiful sacred mouth. You better be afraid of every single action and every single step that you take, because you know that Jesus walks with you, that God walks with you, and that as soon as you take these steps, God multiplies whatever you do. So if God is a multiplier, let's talk about negativity. -1 times anything equals negativity. You're going to get a negative outcome. Okay? So anything negative you do, God's going to multiply it. And it's going to be a hard negative, right? So I said, hey, I have to be very careful and very slow to speak, think, and do things, because I know that I'm going to get it. I'm going to get exactly what I asked for, whether I know it or not, or wanted it or not. So positivity is definitely huge. You have to trick your mind into thinking differently. So as soon as I have a fear of something, if I'm worried about something, if I'm stressed out about something, that's just a radio signal trying to guess who you are, right? Let's say it's something entity that's calling on you, and it's always calling you. Like, a thought will say, you don't like vegetables. And you would think, yeah, I don't like vegetables, right? But it's just a thought that's just coming in. You don't have to answer to that thought as if it's true. You decide to answer that thought as if it's true because you think that that thought is you. However, that thought is just a habit that you're used to. That's just an identity that you're used to. You can change your thoughts. You can say, no, you know what? I actually want to try vegetables. And I think I'm going to get into vegetables today. And that's just an example.